Today, we're going to be going over everything you need to know for update 1.2 for the game Once Human. So if you want to know the latest and greatest, this is the video for you. Before we jump into it, a lot of you are probably coming here right around the release of this video because updates going on right now. The game is set to be down for 4 hours, and if you're lucky enough to be living in Japan or Southeast Asia, the game could be down for up to 5 hours. So server upgrades are going to take a while, and that is worth noting. Now, let's get into details for everybody who wants to stay. First off, they added a new PvP scenario, and this would be Prism versus Clash. So these are two factions that are going to be fighting each other. You're going to fight it out. There's going to be some PvP. There's 2 safe zones when you start off and a bunch of zones that you can test for. You're going to be fighting for Prism Team and get some cool boxes, some cool loot. This only lasts 19 days because Way of Winter is coming. So if you sign up for the Prism versus Clash right now, literally on the launch, you can jump into Way of Winter without missing a beat. And that is great. Now, let's go over the new content that comes with this update outside of that whole PvP scenario thing. First off, animals will now start breeding if the following conditions are met. The animal has to have a high tameness. So the animal has high tameness. The animal's not a youngling because that would be weird. And the youngling hut facility in your territory is not at full capacity. Also, you need the youngling hut facility. Duh. Also, newborn animals, and this is actually pretty cool, are going to have random changes to their color and patterns, and there might even be special rare patterns that you could find. And the cool thing about this is the patterns seem to be affected by the paternity and maternity of the animals. So there's a lot to play around with here. And if you want more details on the rare special patterns, make sure you hit subscribe because I'm going to be going into everything that we find out about all these new systems in Once Human. Because to be honest, I really love this game. I'm spending a couple hours a night playing it, and I got kids, so I really don't get that much time. Now, back to this, they're adding ranch animals. You're going to be able to tame the capybara, flamingos, and leopards. So if you want to roleplay Joe Exotic, this is a game for you. Now we've got some Eternal Land things that have been changed. So they added Eternal Land roaming, which means you can access random players' Eternal Lands, and this is cool because they introduced a whole new system around this. So you've got a recommendation system and also a like system. So if you like another player's Eternal Land, you hit the actual like button, that's going to be showing that Eternal Land to more players. So if you want to make the game look super toxic, you now have the ability to do that, but hopefully you guys are all going to be recommending really cool things because I don't want this to become Rust 2.0. The community is a little toxic. And yes, that is a massive understatement. Now, let's get into the new weapon that they added because there's one weapon that's been added. And it's the katana. Those of you who have to wait an extra couple hours in Japan for this update, it's worth it because you can roleplay as your ancestors. So yeah, they added a new melee weapon blueprint, the fabled Masumani. I don't know, I'm assuming that's Japanese. It can be purchased in the blueprint shop after the update. And as far as things that go purchase-wise, there's some new cosmetic items. You've got the Lightforge Celebration Crate. Electro Bash will be available for a limited time from September 27th. Destruction or Celebration, crank up the volume and hit the gas. So this is sort of like a Rockstar theme thing, it looks like. And it's like a cool neon theme to it. Honestly, I love this. This is one you're probably going to see me dropping a few bucks on. Make sure you hit like and subscribe so that you can support my addiction to skins. Because I know my salary probably can't. I'm currently not working. It's a little embarrassing. Anyways, no, it's not embarrassing. I took some time off to visit Japan with the family and it's light. Now, let's get back into it. The Lightforge Creation Crate comes with some new mechanics. So there's this whole Lightforge crystal system. I'm not quite sure how it's working, so I'm just going to read this. A Lightforge crystal is guaranteed every 30 draws and comes in 3 varieties, 1, 2, and 3. And these are in Roman numerals because Roman numerals are old school cool. These can be used to select a reward from the corresponding Lightforge collection. Treasure, that would be 1, Legendaries 2, and Grand is 3. Each reward cannot be selected more than once, and all Lightforge crystals are guaranteed within 10 rounds of up to 30 draws each. For more details, please check the relevant screen in the game. And they also announced that they're going to release an epic furniture pack called Neon Symphony. And it's basically everything's neon themed. So if you ever wanted to host a millennial themed retro club, and yes, it's sad to know that neon's retro now. I love neon, and I guess I'm retro too, sadly. But yeah, neon millennia, like there's just a lot of cool stuff, including new their skin that we talked about in an earlier video. Like, it really has a cool, like, cyberpunk feel to it. And honestly, if they introduce a cyberpunk environment into Once Human, I'm sold. This is the game for me. I love Cyberpunk 2077. And if they could do something even half as good as that, as far as environments go, that would be that would be mind blowing. If they could even do like 1/10 of it, I'd be blown away. Also, they added new fashion pieces, and these are probably more neon themed too. And they added an epic fashion set that would be raven feathered and a raven striped. So they sort of look like this. I'm showing right here. There's a Wild Hunter M7 and Wild Hunter HAMR and Wild Hunter DE50. You can basically, if you look at these screenshots that I'm showing, that's going to give you an idea for what all these skins are going to look like. Otherwise, just check the skin store. Now, we've got an event update, the Northern Tour. So this is an event that's going to last from the 26th of September, which is now, to the 17th of October. The rock band Castle Wishes received an invitation from North, and the snowy landscape depicted in it made everyone long to go. The decision was immediate: head to the Snowy Realm. Incidents involving the Snowy Realm will gradually unlock as the event progresses. Complete the incidents to obtain future furniture blueprints, star chromes, and more. So it seems like this is some sort of like scenario that's going to be going on, or some sort of event that's going to be going on, and it's gonna have like a rock band type theme to it. I'm interested in this. I'm wondering how they're gonna blend this all together. It's gonna be cool to see. Also, last thing here is, if you sign up for the scenario during the event, you'll obtain exclusive cosmetics. This would be the Strawberry Ice Wool Hat, and that's gonna come when you join the Way of Winter scenario. And another thing that they're adding is a whole new invite system. I'm gonna post my invite link down below. But basically, if you've got friends who haven't joined the game, or friends who played the game and then stopped 14 days ago, you can send them your invite link. And this invite code is going to get you some friendship points that can be exchanged for rewards in the event shop. And in addition to this, you're going to be able to select an item. It sounds like you're going to be able to select an item that your friends get when they join the game, or when they come back to the game if they've been gone for 14 days. So that's actually pretty cool that there's going to be some valuables given out and all that. Like I said, my reward code's down below. The rewards include smart chromes, morph deviations, Mitsuko's mark loot crates, Mitsuko's marks, and more. And you're going to get XP buffs and some other cool stuff. So, like, if you've got friends who haven't played in a while, just, you know, have them join, have them just sign in. And if they really start getting back into the game, there's a bunch of other bonuses that they're going to be giving out that are going to help hopefully lead to more player retention. So now we're going to jump into optimizations, and this is important because the new scenario is PvP based. So tactical items, defensive installations, and weapons now have a destructiveness perimeter that decides how much damage they deal to different buildings. So this is the example. A Molotov cocktail has a low destructiveness, which means it's going to deal high damage to wood buildings, but less damage to stone and concrete buildings. On the other hand, a rocket launcher, they said RPG-7 rocket launcher, has high destructiveness, which means it deals full damage to wood and stone buildings and considerable damage to concrete buildings. So when you're doing PvP and raiding someone, Molotov cocktails, not that great unless you're going against wood. Otherwise, rocket launchers are pretty good for everything, and that just makes sense. They also recalibrated the material type and durability, which is used for damage calculations on some buildings, to align them with unlocked memetics and building types. So now we've got some social chat changes. They added some transparency features to it. You go to the gearbox, it's in the chat, hit enter, see the chat, go to the gearbox. You can play with the transparency. It's going to set to a default of 50%. The chat interface was adjusted. They added a private chat channel for you to view chats with your friends. And if you leave the chat interface after entering text, drafts are going to be kept. You can all discover that as you go, so not a big deal. New journey tasks were added. These would be Animal Farming and Architecture Part 2. When it comes to dungeons, they added normal and hard difficulties to the Forsaken Giant Dungeon. The Pro difficulty was also adjusted, and they removed the requirement to reach Phase IV or Phase 4. I hope that's 4. I'm not that good with Roman numerals, if we're being honest. They added that, so you don't need to reach that phase before being able to challenge the Forsaken Giant Dungeon. There's some issues with vehicle obstacles and blocking that they tried to fix, and along with that, there's a bunch of other bug fixes. I'm going to read these off, but if you want to jump out here, these are all the updates. Otherwise, we're just going over bug fixes. It's important to go over those if you're a really hardcore player because sometimes these bug fixes actually do change the way you play the game. So they fixed an error with guaranteed drop in Securement Silo EX1. They fixed the issues affecting enemy movement animations when on certain types of terrain. Fixed an issue where the Cradle perk sustained suppression only granted a 15% buff per stack when it should be 20%. Also, it didn't have a buff icon being triggered. Fixed the issue with battle passes. Display effects would sometimes appear on other screens. Fixed the issue that would sometimes affect the camera angle when moving a turret back to a building in construction mode. Fixed the issue affecting some items where after moving from a scenario to Eternal Land, Minstrel Sand would not be displayed in the field guide, and after moving from Eternal Land to a scenario, materials would not be displayed on a field guide. I have no idea what that means. I still haven't unlocked Eternal Lands, not because I don't love the game, but because I've been sort of like taking my time with it. I wanted to enjoy it, and to be honest, I've been in Japan, which I'm not in Japan just to play video games, although I do love doing that in Japan. But there's other things to do. But a strong zero, enjoy a breeze. Anyways, they fixed the issues where, when viewing gear mod details, the display time of the detail screen was too short. They fixed the issue in construction mode where glass ceiling models would not align properly. They fixed the issue where buff icons in the status bar would be hidden after entering or exiting a scenario. Fixed the issue where food would sometimes not be spoiled even when its durability reached 0. So food is going to be a little bit harder to get, but just a little, like my, you know what? And it fixed an issue where the second icon for the Securement Silo EX1 could not be seen on the map. Fixed the issue where some deviants would not work in the player's territory. Fixed some lazy deviants are now a thing of the past, unless we're talking about myself. Fixed the issue where with the spawning of the lethal rabbit deviant in the secure silo Sigma. Fixed the issue where players would sometimes be unable to teleport using the strange door deviation. Optimize the teleport tip to show when public crisis events are overpopulated. Fix the issue. Fix the display issue affecting the hair of female characters wearing the Human Barricade Academy fashion set when on the low graphics setting. They're just telling people off. No, they're actually pretty mean if they just said don't be poor. But that's not what they said. Fix the issue where the blouse of the Human Barricade Fashion Academy set would appear gray under strong light in the wilderness. Fix the issues when equipping fashion items filtering by rarity would cause icons to be mismatched with the actual preview. They fixed an issue with the high-risk public crisis events where they would become available during the wrong phase. It's not a phase, it's a lifestyle. And they fixed the issue where Buzzy Bee would not increase the chance of attaining deviant crops. So that's great to see that the bee actually works. For those of you who are wondering if it was working, it wasn't. And now it should be. Anyways, that's all we've got for today, version 1.2 of Once Human. If you got any questions, comments, or anything that you really hate, including my voice, leave the comments down below. Until next time, peace.